We are going to learn about Myra of Lycia from Acts chapter 27 verse 1 to 5. We're going to read Acts chapter 27 verse 5.
And when we had sailed over the sea of Cilicia and Pamphylia, we came to Myra, a city of Lycia.
So what I want us to notice is that before the ship of Adramyttium gets to Myra, a city of Lycia, it first goes through the sea of Cilicia and Pamphylia. So here's the ship of Adramyttium, and it's going to go through the sea of Cilicia. I would like to explain what Cilicia means. Cilicia means to overturn, and to overturn means to turn something over. So that we understand that, I'm going to use the example of a glass of water. So here's our glass of water. If I overturn it, this is what would happen. The water would start to spill out, and then when I've totally overturned it, all the water would come out. So this is what it means to overturn. This is what Cilicia means. Now, I'd like to explain about Pamphylia. So here's the ship of Adramyttium. It's now going through the Sea of Pamphylia. And Pamphylia means a nation made up of every tribe. So I'm going to use an example. I'll use a country called South Africa. And in South Africa, you have different tribes. I'll just use a few of them. We have the Zulus, the Sothos, the Ndebelés. This is just a few of them among the tribes that are there. And these tribes, when they come together, they make one nation called South Africa. Now imagine a nation made up of every tribe. It would be a very big nation. So we're going to read Acts chapter 27 verse 5 again, so that we can understand a little bit more.
And when we had sailed over the sea of Cilicia and Pamphylia, we came to Myra, a city of Lycia.
So the place that they came to is Myra, a city of Lycia. I want to explain what Myra means. Myra means bitter. In the Bible, it explains that wormwood is bitter. So I went to my garden there and I took a picture of wormwood so that we can see it. Another thing that we can use to explain what bitter is lemons. Lemons have a bitter taste, and also grapefruit. If you've eaten grapefruit, it has a bitter taste. And also kiwi fruits can have a bitter taste as well. So these are just foods so that we can understand what bitter means and what bitter tastes like. Then I would like to explain about Lycia and what Lycia means. Lycia means wolfish, which means like a wolf. So here's a picture of a wolf, a white wolf, and what wolves like to do, they like to howl. It looks like a dog, but it's different from a dog, and they like to howl a lot more. So the word wolfish can be used to explain uh, something that's cruel and rapacious. So what that means, rapacious means greedy. So somebody who's greedy, somebody who wants everything to come to them, someone who cannot share very well. So that's what rapacious means. And these are the words that the prophetess Ellen White used to explain the character of Felix. That Felix was cruel and rapacious. And if you look very closely and try to understand what Lycia means, it also means light, and it's light or white, as in the sense of a ripening grain. So you can see the picture there of the ripening grain and how it looks white or bright, and this is the type of white that Lycia means. So we saw there that Myra of Lycia, Myra means bitter, Lycia means wolfish, and that reminds us of Felix's character. And we've got the white of ripening grain. So these things help us to understand more about the Sunday law. And I'll explain starting from the top. The bitter that we see there is explaining a disappointment. Now, because God, He loves His church, the Seventh-day Adventist Church, and He loves all nations, and He also loves the United States of America, it's going to be a great disappointment when the nation of USA brings out a Sunday law, and we know now that the Sunday law is going to do about equalities. So it will bring out a law that is not equal, a law that is not the same for everybody, treating everybody the same. And God will be disappointed at America because God raised up the USA to be a good nation, to be a good example. And also there'll be a disappointment with God's church because God raised up His church, the Seventh-day Adventist Church, to be a good example of equality and to protect people. So it'll be a disappointment when both the nation and the church that was raised up by God does something that's bad. So that's what the disappointment means, and that's what it's about. Then wolfish, which reminds us of Felix, it explains cruel, and this Sunday law, which is going to be about not being equal, it's going to be cruel to the people of God who keep God's law and who love God's law. The white of the ripening grain, it's explaining the harvest of the 11th hour workers, or we also call them the Nethinims. But these are all the people that are going to accept God's word, who are not Christians right now, who are not Seventh-day Adventists, who are not in God's church. So these we call 11th hour workers or Nethinims, because when the grain is ripe in the field, we harvest. So this is talking about the harvest. Our lesson will end here. God bless.